to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
And I'm Kayfabe Avenue, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And I'm E.A.
It's Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks. I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue, and tonight we bring you the Raw wrap-up. So we're about 24 hours removed. We got a lot of time to gather our thoughts on this Monday Night Raw and the fallout of all the goings-on. So
historic.
Yeah,
historic.
Definitely a historic episode of Monday Night Raw. And for those of you who have been keeping up, you know that tonight was the focus on Bobby Lashley versus The Miz. The Miz having to defend his WWE Championship. The Miz being 2 weeks into his run and being the first ever double Grand Slam WWE champion in the history of the business, the only one to do it. So regardless what happened tonight, history was made with Miz's run. So they highlight that in the opening package and show what led to Bobby and Miz's matchup tonight, which was the fact that Bobby Lashley was hired by the Miz pretty much to attack Drew McIntyre after the Elimination Chamber. After Drew ran the entire chamber, survived, retained the title. Of course, Bobby Lashley destroyed him. Miz captured the championship, cashing in his Money in the Bank. So the deal was he helps him with Drew McIntyre, and in turn, he'll get a WWE Championship match. So that's us to tonight. So the show opens with Drew McIntyre in the ring, and this is his first night back since what happened to him at the Elimination Chamber. So he's basically cutting a promo about him seeing exactly where his future lies, and that's in the WWE Championship. And it doesn't matter who's the winner at the end of Miz versus Lashley. They got a target on their back. He's gonna chase them for the title. He's gonna go to WrestleMania and he's gonna regain that championship back. So that's when we have the Miz come out, makes his grand entrance, make sure that the announcer gets his entrance correctly, announces him as the WWE champion. So we get the whole pyro show, and then we get Miz pretty much trying to lure Drew into helping him with Lashley. Obviously, big size, weight, strength difference between Lashley and Miz. So he's playing up the cowardly heel character, which throughout tonight, he definitely played up really, really good. So McIntyre ain't having none of that. He says, I'm going to mind my business. I'm not helping anybody. I won't interfere. That match is going to happen without me getting anywhere near it. So MVP comes out, interrupts, and MVP says, by the way, your match is at 9:00. So within an hour, Miz will have to defend the title. So obviously Miz is shitting bricks at this point. And then cueing Sheamus for their matchup, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. So I guess this was the match to kind of blow off that storyline, since it ran through the chamber and they didn't officially get their one-on-one. So this was that matchup right here. What do you think about the promo segment before we talk about the match? What do you think about MVP coming out, the Miz, the whole situation with him, McIntyre, and Bobby? What do you think about that intro?
I think that it was a pretty good way to start Monday Night Raw. First, you got the former WWE, the former two-time WWE Championship champion, Drew McIntyre. He's saying that he wants his title back, and he's not really concerned about the Miz having the world championship because he thinks of it as a fluke, because it was a Money in the Bank contract cash in, especially after Elimination Chamber where he fought like god damn near everybody in that Elimination Chamber, it seemed like. So Miz is funny. I kind of wish that he would just stop being so cowardly heelish and do does more like a more dangerous unhinged type of heel type of work, because the Miz is the Miz, and he's been the same Miz for like ever since he won it the first time. So it'd be good to instead of him going back to this cowardly heel character, to see his character evolve. But having MVP coming out and saying that the Miz is gonna defend the title at 9 o'clock. I thought that was funny. Especially with the faces that the Miz was making, and then Sheamus comes out after. And my thing is, I think the reason why they had Miz and I mean not Miz, Sheamus and Drew today instead of any other day was because one, Miz still had the Money in the Bank contract, and two, they didn't want to give the title to Sheamus because if they had Sheamus lose the, if they had Drew McIntyre or Sheamus lose without having gaining like the WWE Championship in the way, it's gonna look one of them look bad. So it was a good way to take the title off of Drew, give it to Miz, pass it on to Matt Lashley, so they could have Sheamus and Drew to have this one-on-one that's not for the WWE Championship. So when they do actually have it for the championship, it will mean more.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. As far as Miz playing like the cowardly heel, I think it worked here as when it comes to Lashley, because it's just believable at this point. Lashley is a fucking tank. So him playing it up here made perfect sense. So I did agree with the decision for tonight as far as the way they wrote it today. But I do agree. Miz needs to, maybe not the sadistic, because that's not really him, but he should play up the master strategist angle. And I feel like he had a lot of options tonight.
He could have reinvented his
retain.
whole character to this one night. Instead of being on the comedic something, he could have just took it more serious and was like, hey, I'm here to I'm here to play. I came to
Yeah.
play.
So yeah, I do agree with that. I hope this isn't the way he's booked going forward. I hope this kind of changes after, but tonight it made sense. As far as the Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus match, I think it was really good. This is probably the match that we would have gotten at a pay-per-view. They went, full length, probably a good 20 minutes, 20 something minutes of the beginning of the first hour, maybe even longer than that. It was a really hard-hitting match. They, went all out, can't even lie. But this pretty much ends with a broke kick. McIntyre ends up countering it into his Claymore kick, and then covers Sheamus for the 3. Personally, I'll give this match a 8. It was definitely like pay-per-view caliber. I think there's so much spinning plates, especially heading into WrestleMania. We only got one more pay-per-view before Mania, which is only a few short weeks, maybe 3 weeks now. So, it makes sense that they had this match here.
I think that Sheamus should have won.
I don't think Sheamus should have won for the simple fact that we all know Drew is going to Mania. We know that this is pretty much his redeeming run towards Mania for not being in front of a crowd last year, for having to be the champion struggling to find his place in a completely different era of wrestling broadcasting period across the world. So he had a big job. So I think this is gonna be his big payoff. Like he proved himself as a champion this year. All the Drew McIntyre haters aside, is undeniable. Like he did held his own. So I think it makes sense. Um, so what do you rate the actual match, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus?
I feel like a 7.
7.
I,
All right.
I
So
feel I feel like they could have done like one or two spots that's had like a big wow factor that could have made it like that much better.
yeah, I agree. Um, they kind of played up the two big behemoth, slugger. You know, that's pretty much the route they went. They could have probably went a little bit more technical, probably, you know, broke through an announce table or something like that, or barricade, something to that effect. So next up we go backstage with Naomi, and she's dancing, and Nia Jax ends up getting her way. They stare each other down. They have a matchup next, so that was kind of the build up to that.
Oh wow, that's a great long-term booking storyline right there.
Trash. Um, we end up getting countdowns through the show, um, towards the Miz's defense at 9 o'clock for against Bobby, of course, and then we end up going straight into that match, Naomi versus Nia Jax. So I really don't have much to say about this match. Nia Jax is Nia Jax. You know
So
how
this match was short. This match
it was
was
short.
like really, really short.
Naomi had a little bit of offense in the beginning, a couple of strikes here, a couple of reversals. Showcase that she is a formidable opponent. But you know how the injury is: smash, stomp, crush, and that's pretty much what it was. She ends up,
And basically smothered the glow.
yeah. So that botched choke slam power bomb that she did, it's actually her finisher now. So I guess,
Is it?
yeah, it is.
Is that what they're saying?
This
Is
is
that what they're
officially
saying?
this is officially the third time she's used it and won the match with it. So it's officially her finish. I don't think it has a name yet, so I'm gonna just call it the Injurer. Um, so she hits the Injurer for the win, and then Shayna Baszler ends up in the ring with her, and
Can't
that's
fucking
pretty
win
much
that.
it. We had Lana outside, pretty much being useless, and
Oh,
comes
I
to
forgot Lana was there.
exactly. She was out there useless. Obviously she's not going there after Naomi got crushed and try to fight them herself. So she basically was picking up the scraps of Naomi and seeing if they were okay.
Yeah.
So
This match
not
is a
really much to speak about.
this match is a 0.5.
You're generous. I think there was like a 4.5. The injurer doesn't really,
4.5?
yeah, the
I
injurer
gave it a
doesn't,
0.5.
he's the injurer doesn't really, impress me much. The new finishers, okay, if she hits it right, which she did with Naomi. Um, but it was quick. It was nothing special. Just moving along that
Like
storyline,
like like for that she might as well just put Naomi through a table too.
right? Just, you know what? You
Just
want to
continue
know
the
what?
storyline.
The thing is,
Continue the
the thing
storyline.
that annoys me with Naomi is that they overlook the fact that Jimmy Uso is her husband, Nia Jax is her family, Tamina's her family, and they always put her in a situation where she's fighting these girls, and it's like, we know y'all cool, so why don't y'all just keep them opposite or just turn Naomi bad for once? Like,
The
she's
evil
never been
glow.
able to be bad and like stand on her own. She's only did it next to Tamina and Sasha Banks, and that doesn't even really fucking count. So let's move along
Oh
from that.
well.
Not much to speak about for that. But we got the WWE Championship matchup: The Miz versus Bobby Lashley, and we have pretty much Lashley comes out looking jacked as hell, looking ready, focused for this match. And then we get the Miz, and what we thought was gonna be the Miz. His music comes out, but he's not coming out. We go backstage, and John Morrison's trying to help the Miz. Adam Pearce walks up, and he's like, "What the hell's going on? Like, you better have a good explanation as to why the hell you're not out there." Miz is saying his stomach hurts. He's cramping up. He can't go out. He needs more time to defend this championship. You know, he's the champion. He should be protected.
He should have caught COVID.
He caught instant stomach COVID. So, you know, he said it was the stress, and you know, he's got Miz and Mrs. He does all the media. He's the champion that they need. Adam Pearce should be defending him. So pretty much he says the Miz is going to defend the title at 10 p.m., even if he has to drag him out himself. So good acting. If we ever had a question the Miz's acting ability, good acting in this segment right here. What do you think about that?
I think it was funny.
Yeah, the shit was I was laughing. I was also like on the boards as this Raw was going on, and people were losing their shit. There was so many haters like of the Miz just losing their shit over the way he's being booked and shit like that. It was hilarious.
I mean, I don't know how you can get mad at the Miz being booked. He's been booked like this for like the past 15 years. Like now you want to get mad at the Miz acting this way. Like,
right.
Okay.
So, you know, I sometimes when I read the forums, it just makes the show even so much better, because like, yeah, you're upset. That makes sense why you're upset. Oh no, you're just completely delusional, and you're just hating to hate. Like, so next up we got Braun Strowman in the ring, and of course he's looking like Sami Zayn with his conspiracy theories towards Adam Pearce and Shane McMahon, and he's pretty much saying that their decision sucked. He knows that they're keeping him down, and the rule about the WWE champion, former WWE champions in the chamber only, sucked. Shane McMahon comes out, and it's looking like he's just building towards a Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman at Mania or some shit, because he keeps talking real hot, like Braun can't just smack the shit out of him and end his life. So he really was, you know, playing up like Strowman was stupid. He was Shane McMahon's talking about he's been taking some MBA courses, and he's trying to practice communication with Braun. So he ends up teaming Braun Strowman with Adam Pearce, and he's going for the WWE Tag Team Championships. So Braun Strowman, you know, with the idea of the champion, he's like, you know what? All right, that's okay. It still sucks, but that's fine. So we end up getting the match right after that promo. So Braun Strowman and Adam Pearce versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin was the next match. And this was another one. This was quick as fuck. It was for the Tag Team Championship. It was quick as fuck. It was more about the story than it was about the match. And we basically had Braun Strowman destroy the Hurt Business. And right when he's about to win, Shane McMahon is like, no, tag Adam Pearce. Tag him in. And he's like, what? Like, you look at him like, you fucking crazy right now? Like, so he ends up tagging Adam Pearce at Shane McMahon's command. Adam Pearce walks in, gets rolled up for the win. I loved it because it pushes the story without diminishing the Hurt Business, without taking away their reign unnecessarily for some bullshit, you know, story. It keeps the build up towards Shane and Braun. And, I think it was funny. I think it was hilarious. They keep teasing this Adam Pearce wrestling debut, and we just keep not getting it. So WWE decide whether you want him as on-screen personality or you want him as wrestler already. It's getting annoying with these little teasers, especially when you keep playing up the fact that he has a history and he's proved himself. He's never proved himself in WWE.
First of all, them using Adam Pearce is just trolling the fans because Adam Pearce is basically Adam Cole of like 15 years ago. That's basically all he was. Adam Pearce was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion for an extended period of time. So when you think about it like that, the only person that could really relate to that is like pretty much an NXT champion or something, which probably be like Adam Cole or something. So basically, and everybody, the thing is, everybody who knows a bunch of indie wrestling and everything knows about Adam Pearce, and they know that he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, so they know that he can wrestle and he can wrestle really good. And is that inside joke between Vince McMahon and the bookers saying, hey, let's just keep trolling the fans, saying that Adam Pearce is gonna wrestle, but then we're just gonna put him in some bullshit, and then that's it. And that's basically that's all that's going on. Every time they just troll people, and it's like they're trolling people on both shows. How many times they tease
that's what
him
I'm
trying to
saying. Like
wrestle.
he's been at least in 3-4 episodes that they've teased him wrestling.
I'm surprised they ain't teased him in NXT yet.
Right, that's the only show he hasn't been on. So
And NXT UK.
The match up for what it's worth, storyline aspect, I give it a 6.5. Wasn't much of a match. It was just Strowman.
I think if this was a real match, Pierce probably would have probably won that shit for them.
Probably, but they don't. They want to keep teasing instead of giving us a real wrestling match with them. So it is what it is. Like I said, I like the fact that Hurt Business kept their titles. I did not think this was a good way for them to lose, or pairing to lose to. It would have been equivalent to Braun Strowman and Nicholas to me. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. You got any final thoughts on that match and that segment?
Hashtag bring Nicholas back.
Bring Nicholas back. Facts. So after that we go backstage, Bad Bunny and Damien Priest, and pretty much talking about Elias and Jackson races. They are about to have their one-on-one. Elias versus Damien Priest. So pretty much some shit talking between Elias and Bad Bunny and the music industry. I do like Bad Bunny. Honestly, his involvement in WWE, I like it. I can't complain about it. He's been faithfully here every week. Put it like this: he's already, as 24/7 champion, he's already have one of the longest reigns. He's already shown up to more shows than Brock Lesnar. You can't complain. Like, he doesn't have to do this.
He dove off the top rope more than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, so come on. Bad Bunny's putting in the work, and not only that, elevating my brother Damien Priest, Puerto Rican brothers. So, what more can I ask for? He's probably the most, at this point, the most worthy celebrity for a Celebrity Hall of Fame, like, period, in WWE. So, and you guys could send all the hate mail to EA. That's E.A at Twitter. So send all your hate mail to him. He handles that. If you don't agree with that statement, but I feel like that's facts. So then we got another countdown to the WWE Championship match, and at this point it's 30 minutes. 30 minutes to Miz versus Lashley. We end up getting Elias in the ring, and he's doing his typical walk with Elias, with Jackson Racist next to him. Then we get Bad Bunny comes out. He got his own intro, still with the Booker T. Got his own pyro, like real campeon shit. Because he's in his peak. Damien Priest versus Elias. So this was actually a pretty good match, but
I think it really showcased Damien Priest's ability to work with you know,
bigger guys. I
I
think.
wouldn't say like veterans, but they've been on the main roster with Elias, you know, because I'm not definitely not talking about Jackson races, but you know, with Elias, you know, he's been on the main roster for like about like how long, like 5 years already.
I think he's been up for like maybe 3 years, maybe
No,
three
I
to
think
four years already.
it has to be like five at least. So I think that, you know, it's just showing him that, hey, you know, he can hang with, you know, whoever's on the roster. You know, he needs to
Yeah,
bulk up a little bit more, but you know,
he's
it
a.
is what
I
it
mean,
is.
he's a tall ass guy. So you know, even though he don't have probably the mass of a guy normally at his height,
Hmm.
he's a monster.
Yeah.
But obviously Damien Priest picks up the win. Really good showing. I guess people are really starting to get scared of coming after Bad Bunny's 24/7 championship with Damien Priest being next to him because we didn't have any of the catering crew come out. So, you know, which is
You
actually
you
a good
know you
thing.
know you know what? I think, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna just wait until after the show's over to say it.
So
But I like I said, I'm glad that Damian Priest is actually getting his just due, because you know it's been a long due.
yeah.
He's,
And you know, he's probably the best book Hispanic, Puerto Rican, and Hispanic in WWE right now.
in the modern era.
So, you know, they usually drop the ball when it comes to Hispanics on WWE TV. Um, like the disappointment of Liz Dorado and Lucha House Party, which we'll get to later. But now the championship match is coming up, and we have the video package once again building up Bobby Lashley versus The Miz and their interaction from last week. Finally, we got Lashley coming out, and he's in the ring awaiting The Miz. Miz and John Morrison finally come down. You know, um, he's getting ready. He's getting ready to defend that. We definitely gonna see this match. So they go to you know, Miz trying to come towards the ring from backstage, but then we cut off to Randy Orton doing a backstage promo while the Miz makes his way to the ring, and it shows the situation with him, the Fiend, and Alexa Bliss, and how Alexa Bliss been taunting him the past couple of weeks, and he ends up spitting blood 2 weeks ago. So
I'm
yeah,
telling you, I think we're gonna have a Fiend Orton.
well they show
It's starting to look
it's
that
definitely
way.
starting to look that way because um you know, they have the pentagrams, they have all this imagery. They're talking about she's talking about bring him back. Randy Orton's face ends up, you know, his eyes end up going black, and she goes, Randy, this doesn't end on your terms. Soon you'll come to face with everything you've ever done. Then she starts laughing, and Randy starts unzipping his jacket and like um you know, like screaming in pain or whatever the case may be, or like showing that he's in pain. So it looks like they are going the Jason route, and he's gonna be possessed, or the Fiend's gonna try to take over him or something like that. It's different. It's probably one of the
I
most
told you
unique.
that's exactly what's gonna happen.
It's probably one of the most unique storylines WWE ever tried. So yeah, I just want to see where it's going. I won't really give an opinion so far if I love or hate it. So far, I do like most of what they've done with Alexa Bliss, The Fiend, etc. I think I'm just ready to see The Fiend come back.
I
To
mean, how
TV.
long he had a pretty long vacation.
Yeah, it's been already like 2 months.
You think that maybe they're just waiting until after WrestleMania to bring him out?
No, I think this leads to WrestleMania. Orton versus The Fiend at Mania.
I think they're gonna book Alexa Bliss versus Orton at WrestleMania, and then all of a sudden,
Alexa Bliss and the
that
Fiend versus Randy and Kim Orton.
yeah, well, not Kim. I think I think that
Versus Nikki Cross.
they're definitely gonna have him turn into the Fiend at some point before WrestleMania. That's the only thing that's kind of like concerning me, is like how they're gonna do it, because it seems like they're just gonna make him vomit a whole bunch of things, and it's like, but is like, what else is he gonna start like looking in the mirror and start seeing face paint on himself or something, or like the mask?
Honestly,
or like,
I think even Alexa needs her own mask. Like, my image of the Fiend is like Slipknot. His mask is made from the same guys who make the mask for Slipknot. Imagine a stable with guys that look like straight out of Slipknot's band. Like, that shit'll look crazy.
Retribution?
No. Not a bunch of things. Not a bunch of Batman character rejects. I'm talking about, our original, organic, thought out mask like the Fiend did, which is an amazing mask, real scary. Something
inspired
like
by
that
the Joker.
Custom for Alexa, and maybe even temporarily for Randy. I definitely think the Fiend needs to come back with a different mask, maybe something that looks burned or like charred a little bit.
He's probably gonna look like the Joker from the Suicide Squad.
I hope not. I hope not. Let Jared Leto do his own thing, Plus, Sting already tried that.
No, he did the Heath Ledger Joker. He didn't do the Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah, I mean, but he did the Joker thing. So now let's move on from the Randy Orton thing, and we're gonna get this championship match now. So, they have this big build up again, and then Miz comes out with John Morrison, and he's waiting inside the ring, and he's still trying to negotiate with MVP, and he's telling him, which a lot of this promo I had to agree, and I could have saw like, it's stupid to accept Miz's offer, but it does make sense what the Miz is saying. So the Miz is like, for 17 years Bobby Lashley's waited, and he's tried to get his championship win, his WWE title, try to solidify himself. Why would we do this match on a Monday Night Raw? This match deserves to be on a big stage. It deserves to be at WrestleMania. So, of course, Miz is trying to string along his way to make it to Mania. What I did like was Bobby Lashley pretty much like listening to him, like, yeah, start the match. we need this right now.
He's like, nah, I'm walking into the WrestleMania as
champion. We're walking in as champion. So they ring the bell. Lashley goes to attack Miz. Miz drops down, gets out the ring. This man hits Flash levels of speed, and I think he hit a different state. In like 2 seconds flat, this man was behind the Titantron, gone, got counted out. He definitely can be an Olympic runner. He showcased his speed, his agility. The Miz is the GOAT. Retains his title. Bobby Lashley wins the match.
One defense.
Defense.
Bobby Lashley 0, Miz 1.
So the Miz ends up getting the better of Bobby Lashley, showing his smartness as a champion, his master strategy as a champion. And of course, the forums and the boards went ape shit. Oh my God, this was a joke. Poor Lashley. The funny ones, well, the comments that I did see was, this is gonna happen to Lashley after Black History Month. Like, I was dying the whole time. Like, yeah. I commented to one dude. I'm like, the Miz is the GOAT. Watch this DQ happen the next time he has to defend. So after he runs off, we end up at a commercial. When we come back, Bobby Lashley is pressing Shane McMahon with MVP, and he's like, technically there was a championship match, and technically you won, but he's not gonna let that slide. So he's gonna have a title match tonight. MVP is like, um, I don't know why he did it, but he's like, this is bullshit. Is this how you run your business? Like, dude, he just gave you the match. So I don't know why he said that. He should have said that a little earlier. But he says he's still gonna consider stripping the title from the Miz and giving it to Lashley. And Lashley states that he'd rather McMahon find him so he could beat the piss out of him. And pretty much Lashley walks off of that. So we get the matchup later on tonight. So Miz pulling double duty as champion tonight. Like, amazing.
Seth Rollins type of work.
Seth Rollins level. This is, greatness. You guys are watching greatness. Next up, we get Charlotte Flair in the ring. Who cares? She's talking about the her being Asuka's tag team partner, and she wanted to stay away from the titles at this point. She's been tangled in the mess with Lacey Evans. She's saying that they're 6 weeks away. Bianca's already chosen Sasha, so Flair's excited for that. But who's gonna be challenging Asuka? Blah blah blah. So she thought about it, and her true colors. She wants Raw Women's Championship, but Asuka's at home injured because somebody knocked the fuck out of Asuka's tooth last week, which was Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, I guess she's been with Nia Jax a little bit too long. The injurer tactics are starting to really rub off. So Asuka's at home. So we're gonna end up getting Charlotte versus Asuka for the Women's Championship. I think everyone saw this coming the moment Charlotte came back and was paired with Asuka for no fucking reason at all. So this is where it's leading to. But Shayna Baszler ends up interrupting Charlotte. Thank God, because we was already, growing tired of that bullshit. Anyways, and this pretty much leads to their matchup with Charlotte picking up the win. So what do you think about?
I thought it was a great match.
This is probably this was the longest match up to this point. I think outside of
let's be honest.
Drew. Everything else
let's
was
be honest.
Quick.
This was probably match of the night out of the whole card.
I don't know. That Sheamus Drew was pretty good. I'd say arguably it was. But it's Charlotte and Shayna Baszler though, so we should expect a great match.
Yeah.
But
I thought Lana on Naomi was gonna interrupt, but apparently they didn't.
They came down to ringside or something, right? Or they were backstage watching.
I thought they was gonna do something.
It's because Lana and Naomi are the number one contenders for the women's tag team championships, I guess, technically, even though the girls from NXT just went through a whole tournament to crown the number one contenders. So yeah, that's why they were looking on. So I more than likely we're gonna end up getting maybe a fatal 4-way or triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team championships at WrestleMania. More than likely the women from NXT versus the champions from Raw, maybe a team from SmackDown. That's what I'm assuming. That's what it's looking like. It's building towards.
More than likely.
So we go backstage. After that, I give this matchup maybe a 7.5.
Maybe
8.
Yeah.
So we go backstage with Adam Pearce, and Shane McMahon informs Adam Pearce to tell Bobby Lashley if The Miz doesn't show up for his match, he'll be stripped of the title and it'll be given to Lashley. And then we end up going to commercial. When we come back, Damn you, EA. I won't forgive you for jinxing the fact that Matt Riddle was paired with Lucha House Party at the point that you jinxed that shit. It only happened one time. And now it's fucking happening consistently every fucking week. We got fake Mexican Lince Dorado over here with a Puerto Rico tattoo, completely forgetting that he's fucking Puerto Rican. And we got just nothing Meta League. He contributes nothing. Doesn't talk, doesn't do shit. Trash House
Yo,
Party.
he's the master of the ropes, all right?
Listen, why is everybody with party in their fucking name is a trash ass group to me?
I don't know, man.
The private party, the public parties, the Lucha House Party, they're all trash. Stop the fucking parties already. If it's not Adam Rose's party, I don't care. So
I mean, I don't know.
I'd rather that shit. I'd rather the Big Bunny coming out than the fake Mexican or the two green dudes from Brooklyn. I'm sorry. So we end up with a 6-man tag team matchup. Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle versus Retribution. So not only do we get a trash ass stereotypical group with the highest fuck Matt Riddle, we get the trash ass Retribution, and we have to see Slapnuts and Teabag and who was it? I think it was Pepper Spray versus, you know, the Trash Party and Bro Riddle. We end up getting Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle winning. Of course they won because Retribution's hot fucking garbage. It's a steaming pile of shit. Almost half the group is garbage because of the gimmick. And if it's not because of gimmicks, because they're just truly garbage. I'm looking at you, Pepper Spray. So yeah, I'm super down on Retribution. The garbage is no redeeming qualities. Even this storyline of Mustafa Ali trying to redeem the Retribution is still utterly garbage. So after the matchup with Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle winning, which I won't give a grade because it's just so much hot steaming pile of garbage that I can only think this is like a fucking fantasy coming from the mind of Vince McMahon at night when he's thinking about what's the next racist shit I could get away with under the radar.
My nigga.
My nigga. Right? So yeah, Retribution's hot garbage. And this leads to Mustafa Ali getting pissed off again the second week in a row. I thought last week was going to be the breakdown of the group and him finally saying, you guys are hot garbage. Teabag, get out my face. Pepper Spray, get the fuck out of here. And, you know, the rest of them, Peckening and what is it? Teabag, Peckening, Pepper Spray, and Slapnuts.
The Fappening. First of all, it's the Fappening.
Is the Fappening?
The Fappening. Slapnuts. Teabag.
And Pepper Spray. Yeah, so we get Mustafa Ali pissed the fuck off, saying you guys, you know, in other words, you guys are hot fucking garbage. You're making me look fucking trash. I'm paraphrasing at this point, but you guys are hot garbage. Your gimmick is absolutely garbage, and I've been carrying you fuckers. So let me show you how it's done.
He's like, damn. He's like, damn. I should have never got you fake ass Antifa motherfuckers. I should have got some fake ass ISIS motherfuckers.
Or I should have went straight up with ISIS with this one instead of Antifa. This white people group ain't working for me. I should have kept with my roots. So Mustafa pretty much saying y'all all garbage, including you Fappening and Slapnuts, even though you know you guys barely did it shit. You all suck. Let me show you how it's done. Matt Riddle, get your high ass back in the ring. Let's have this matchup. So they have a one-on-one. Mustafa trying to show what a leader, how a leader moves, and he still ends up needing help from the same fuckers he just said was garbage. And wanted to
From
lead
all
by
of them
example.
too. From
So he
all of
ends
them.
up needing Retribution's help to pull off the win against Matt Riddle, and then he celebrates as if he just showed them a lesson. So your lesson was to still suck
Yes.
and need help. Perfect.
Correction.
Perfect booking, right?
Yes. Where the fuck was Lucha House Party? How come they didn't help Riddle?
They were like, Orale Holmes, we already done, carnal. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna try to fucking laser my Puerto Rican tattoo off.
Hey.
That's what he was doing. And Metalik is there like, they don't pass me the mic. If you're not out there, I'm not doing shit. So, because Liz Dorado had a laser appointment to laser remove his fucking Puerto Rico tattoo, they couldn't help Matt Riddle in that situation.
Damn, me. That's fucked up.
So next up, we finally get the matchup. The WWE Championship match. The Miz defending his title twice in one night. This man is the GOAT. Not only is he the only two-time Grand Slam champion, this man is defending his title twice against Bobby Lashley. What a champion. What a fucking champion. But of course, he starts off with him being backstage and completely shitting on Anna Pierce and Shane McMahon, saying, you're threatening to forfeit my title. What is this? I defended my championship. I did that already. He said he keeps the title by any means necessary. And I feel like Miz kind of put his foot in his mouth by kind of saying, what's the matchup? What kind of matchup is going to be? Is going to be no DQ. I feel like you should have shut the fuck up and like just went for it after. But he ends up saying it's a lumberjack match. So Miz is in there and he goes for the DQ, but Bobby Lashley ends up, reversing the shit. He gets dominated, thrown out the ring, thrown back in, dominated, thrown out the ring, thrown back in, dominated, hurt lock, it's over. That's pretty much it. The winner and new WWE champion, Bobby Lashley.
There goes the WWE champion Bad Bunny combining
there goes your hope for a WWE.
Combining the WWE championship with the 24/7 title and making R-Truth a world champion in the same run.
I definitely did not want to see that.
I did. You know how many times R-Truth could have been world champion by now? If Bad Bunny would merge the 24/7 championship with the WWE championship.
You don't want Vince hearing this and catch one of his fantasies at night and it's such good shit. Bad Bunny, WWE title. Bucket. No,
they could have made Truth the 100-time champion, beating Ric Flair. Fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
Bobby Lashley issues a statement on his WWE Championship win. So he says, sometimes you have to fight for the things that are important to you. When I made my return to WWE, I told myself I will be WWE Champion one day, and I'm willing to fight for it. Nothing in life is certain, and sometimes you can't control the outcome of things, but there were a couple things I could control. I could control the work I put in, the attitude, and I had while doing it. My attitude has always been positive, and my drive has always been second to none. This night is easily one of the greatest nights of my life. I fucking did it. I can't even put into words what this title means to me. I'm still numb, yet filled with so much emotion right now. I have so many people I want to thank personally, and for all of you who believed in me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hard work and persistence does pay off, but I'm not done yet. I was born for this. I'm a warrior, and I'm ready to stand and fight any and everyone who wants to come after this title. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get back on the grind so I can make this title run legendary. I'm in. Hashtag the Hurt Business. I am your new WWE champion. So congratulations to Bobby Lashley. Is fucking definitely well fucking deserved. Ever since he's been back, I personally was like, if he's back, he needs this WWE title run. I feel like he should have got it when he was with Lio Rush, which Lio Rush actually sent out a video on Twitter, him saying Lashley, Lashley, Lashley. So I think Bobby Lashley couldn't get to the point he is now if it wasn't for Lio Rush's little bit of help and shine, and then MVP, turning around the whole image of Lashley and the rest of the guys with the Hurt Business. So, I'm happy. I love the booking of tonight. It was funny. Miz plays up those roles perfectly, and he's one of those characters that you can take him serious, you can laugh, you can cry with him, you can do anything, any angle Miz can give it to you. So that's the mark of a true champion. So whether it was 200 days or 2 weeks, I'm still happy that the Miz got that title. He got that etched in history. You can't take that away from him. But now it's Bobby Lashley's time, and that's been super long overdue. 17 years in this business, and his runs in WWE. So, what do you think about Lashley's win, the match, the ending of the show?
So there's a couple of things I want to point out. Number one, this is the second time that Bobby Lashley won a world title that MVP has been involved in. The first being the Impact World title, or the TNA, whatever you want to fucking call it. And mind you, something wrong was wrong with MVP's leg at that time as well. So it seems like whenever MVP breaks his leg,
he makes Lashley a champion.
He makes Lashley a world champion. So if you see Lashley in AEW, I would say just watch out for MVP breaking his leg. So now what I would like to see is maybe because I'm trying to think, does this make Bobby Lashley a Grand Slam champion now?
No.
What title he's missing? He's missing the
never had a heavyweight championship in WWE. The only one he did have was the ECW championship. So he's never had a world championship. He's never had the WWE title before.
I know, but does not make him right now the Grand Slam champion?
No, because the ECW title is not in existence anymore. And
that's why. But technically he would be the modern era of Grand Slam.
No, because he needs the Universal Championship to be modern era.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, fuck it. This is always next year. He got face the tribal chief next year.
Technically he is a Grand Slam champion.
That's what I'm saying. Because he won the title.
He had the IC title.
He had the IC.
That was his first run, though. He wasn't IC champion this time.
He had the United States.
He's had the United States IC.
The tag team.
He's never been a tag team champion.
Freebird.
Nah,
Freebird.
you can't
Freebird. Yes, you can.
It ain't no Freebird. He's never competed in a tag team match ever for the Hurt Business. So you can't count.
First of all, that's not true because MVP and Lashley did tag team for a while.
In the Hurt Business?
Yes.
No, they didn't.
There's at least one match.
Brother, you trying to make him Grand Slam champion on technicalities?
The first. Nah, he's not even the first, but that's Kofi. But I think they should have had this Lashley win 5 minutes or 10 minutes before Raw went off, and having the Miz, beat up walking backstage, and then Bad Bunny makes fun of him, and then out of nowhere the Miz just pins him for the 24/7 championship.
Oh, I definitely see Bad Bunny making fun of the Miz next week. For sure.
But they should have done it after this, and then the Miz just runs away with the 24/7 championship, and then that's it. And then he just goes to defense it.
The Miz is still hurt from the Hurt Lock. He's still recovering and licking his wounds. But I think that
how many times Maurice could have won the 24/7 championship after that?
I think they could have stretched out the Miz. I think they could have stretched out the Miz's title run I think they should have did this at Fastlane, honestly. And the way they could have got out of this one, if not by the DQ at the end, Braun Strowman was outside just standing right there. I felt like the Miz, because the Miz was getting thrown out in every angle, out the ring, except for where Strowman was. So I was kind of expecting the Miz to get thrown out by Strowman, and then since Strowman's been getting screwed by Shane McMahon and Adam Pearce for title opportunities, I figured Miz will drop right in front of Strowman. Considering he just lost to Lashley last week, I figured the Miz is telling Braun, if you help me right now, I'll give you a championship match at, kind of the same deal he did with Bobby Lashley. And then I felt like that was the perfect opportunity for Braun Strowman to like destroy the Lumberjacks and, help Lashley, help Miz kind of snake his way into this situation with Lashley. It keeps the Miz as champion a little bit longer. It gives Lashley that pay-per-view main event win, and it gives Braun Strowman a little bit something more to do, But nonetheless, fuck it. Bobby Lashley's our champion, 17 years in the making. I hope he goes on a killer run. It looks like Drew McIntyre is gonna be his opponent at WrestleMania, so it's gonna be a great fucking match. Two big guys who can actually go technically, so I'm looking forward to that. As far as the entire show, I think I'll give this one maybe a 7.5 overall. The matches were quick. The two matches that were long being Shayna versus Charlotte and Drew versus Sheamus. The rest were all pretty quick, story driven, and this was pretty much the build up to Lashley becoming our champion. So overall, I'll give this a 7.5. This would have easily been an 8.5 if this was done last week. If you would have made Lashley champion in Black History Month, I think that would have brought the prestige of this episode just a little bit higher. The fact that it was just 1 day removed. If it was a leap year, we would have got it. But just 1 day removed from Black History Month, he became champion. I think it would have made it a little bit special if they would have did it within the month. But either way, good luck for Lashley. What do you think about the show? What's your rating? And what do you think about
I still think it should have been the Bad Bunny versus The Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and merging the 24/7 Championship with the WWE Championship, because every other fucking company is doing it right now, it seems like, for no fucking reason. So you might as well. So I'm going to give this episode a 5.
Damn. He dropped it heavy. Like, I gave 2 8 matches, but it's a 5.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why I got to a 5, because of those 2 8 matches.
Yeah, so I give it, like I said, I'll give it about a 7.5. Focus gives it a 5. So with that being said, we could do this all day. But so Focus, where can they find you?
Hold up, they can't do it. Damn, it's not doing it. My cue cards is not working, so you can hit me up on Instagram, Tensi_Muyo. Send the hate mail to Twitter on E.A. That's EDOTA. Matter of fact, just send all my messages there, if they're good or bad, and tell me how good my fantasies booking is as well, because I get that as well for some reason. And keep the weird inboxes coming, guys. I like it so much. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah. Who do they compare you to? One of the.
First of all,
They said you was one of the tribal chiefs.
First of all, I'm handsome like Jimmy and Jey Uso. Okay.
Oh man.
Believe that.
Getting weirder and weirder every day. But keep that email going to E.A, like Focus said, or the weird love mail. You can send that to E.A as well, I guess. But you can find me and you can find us collectively at Kayfabe Avenue on Instagram, Kayfabe Avenue on Twitter, on the Facebook. We got a group, so join us, join the conversation. How about you go like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel also at Kayfabe Avenue. And speaking of subscribing, how about you click that support link on Anchor, click that support link on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to us on all streaming podcast platforms, including Spotify and a bunch of others. So click on the support link. Subscribe to the podcast. Donate what you can. Help us keep the lights going. Help us keep this Kayfabe Ave train moving. That has been Kayfabe Focus. I have been Kayfabe AJ. This is Kayfabe Avenue. This has been the Raw Wrap-Up. Austin, take us home.
The bottom line, why? Because old Stone Cold said so. Thank you very much, you son of a bitch.